Thank you.
Regular law, but only in Orlando. It's a grade, which is a building code violation. It's not complete to grade. Every fire escape in the U.S. goes to the ground with either a cantilever, full stair, or a ladder to the ground when allowed. They used to have one, most likely it was probably a accordion ladder that they removed because of the break-ins back in the day. But with that being the case, looking across the way, does anybody see, as a fire inspector, must be structural sound must be kept painted. Is she kept painted? Yeah? Any structural issues coming after you, such as a major blowout or anything like that? No? No? All right, so right now you can just keep Friday and go get some other violations going. Forget about this one. A fire inspector is going to look at a lot more close detail because when he finds it, he's going to see rust jacking happening in different places or not. But at the same time, this is an incomplete fire escape system, and it should be noted so. Number 25, to keep yourself from any liability, you note on there, an incomplete fire escape to grade. I'm being forced to sign on this.
Why is it incomplete?
I thought as long as you're able to get
There's
a
no ladder,
ladder
there's no
up.
complete and they had an ordinance.
This is a 24.
They had
Used to be
an
a
ordinance.
24-foot ladder.
Right.
Been lowered to a 22-foot ladder because we couldn't carry the 24-foot ladder. Switched to a So we've run into a few of them where there are a couple of weird exceptions out there that they're slightly higher than what the current allowance would be, like they were way back when approved. This one is an even more way back when approved. Okay, it's there, and dumber yet, it's serving two buildings, but how do you get to it from this building on the right? That doesn't look safe.
There has to be a door there, guys.
One would think, but you know, they've attached it to two different structures and put it up there. So our inspectors, when Louisa and I send somebody out, and they come out, they're doing a regular fire inspection on this one, if they're going through it today, they bump into this thing and say, okay, who owns this one? If buildings are owned jointly, that's marvelous. If not, then we've got to figure out who's really responsible for it. And we will write them up. If this one passes the visual test, our inspection, then it gets up to 5 years before they have to go through the load testing, repairs, service maintenance, all that neat stuff. If, however, we find anything that doesn't match, it's now.
I'm pretty sure I load tested that one.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Is that why it doesn't have the
2013 deadline?
Is it because the drop down? Is that why it doesn't have a stamp?
No, it's probably because it's buried in the system and somebody didn't get the paperwork to the guy that was supposed to get to.
Guys, this is going to be important. Back in the 1900s, here's why this is going to pass. There's only one modification that happened here. So the way fire escapes worked in the past, you have to cross a firewall. Is there a firewall here? There is. There's a firewall here. So in the past, a lot of these fire escapes called crossover balconies met the means of egress requirement. You just had to cross a firewall. That means this guy crossed over what used to be a door there, I guarantee it. They closed it up. So by crossing a firewall, there's no need to come to grade. So all these crossover balconies, crossing two physical buildings is called a crossover. Legal till today. It's lawfully pre-existing non-conforming. So you don't need ladders to the ground because you cross over a firewall, kick your neighbor's door in. So this one, two choices: put the doors back in and you're fully compliant, or extend the balcony to pick up those windows and you're fully compliant. That's all this guy needs to hear. Okay, so the window and the door and the extension, it will satisfy both of these. So it's not a major headache. There's some changes, but if you didn't know that crossover balconies over a firewall was an acceptable means of egress, you would violate this and make the client spend all kinds of crazy money with a full staircase to the ground. Got it? So crossing a firewall in 1900 was an acceptable means of egress.
Don't cross the street.
This was same time as the other one, right?
worst thing about a fire escape is you're going to really get into that and think it's right. Okay? Whether or not they're made. With that, let's appreciate what's going on here. Guys, is there rust jacking in the weight box?
Yes.
So that must be taken apart, that must be done. Once you're done cleaning it, there's two ways to clean it. It's rusted like this and done this. Do you need to take it all apart, or you need to get a grinder in there and just grind as deep as you can until you hit steel? Where you can grind because it hasn't done, it does this and then it does this. So if it's done this, you gotta take it all apart. It's trying to get in there, it does this. What do you do when it does this? You grind until you find steel. When you find steel, what do you do next? You seal it.
Primer it.
Yeah, well, obviously priming. But then you seal it with 35-year paintable silicone. Because she hasn't done this. She's only done this. So on a tread, on a tread, why don't you just start right here? On a tread that did this, you know, because they have that little dot. On a tread clip that's done this, you need to separate it or you just need to clean it. You want to grind it down until you hit raw metal. Then when you got raw metal, all the dust, all the rust has gone out. What do you need to do besides prime? And you can't use regular primer because if you use regular primer, it takes too long to dry. You use fast dry, you know, Rust-Oleum primer. It dries quickly. You apply your caulking, paintable silicone, because silicone will push your paint out. And once that dries, now we've got the rust, the internal rust that everybody thought was internal has been removed to the satisfaction. You can photograph it, you can prove it to your engineers and everybody. And all of a sudden now I've got the rust out, I've got it sealed and I've got it primed with silicone. And all of a sudden now I come in on any one of these connections and I put a bolt in it. If it's a rivet, I put a backup bolt and I keep the original bolt if it's in great order. What happens? Will Stu accept it as other evidence of strength? I've got two bolts there. With an actual stamp again. And the code supports it. The authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. Work on other evidence of strength. And as soon as you double, so they've doubled the load test to 200. If you put two bolts where only one is needed, what do you do down to the city official? Got it? So, and again, back to these welded connections. A lot of them are welded on top, welded on the bottom. I need an x-ray and a load test. But as soon as I take a 1-inch angle clip and I stick it underneath the welded connection, I put 2 3/8 bolts. And by the way, you have that new power drill hammer. I'll tell you all about that later. There's a mechanism that you can just drill all day long. I'll show you. And the drilling is no longer that laborious thing. We've got, not a mag drill, but there's this system that you can just blow bolts all day long and it's online, okay? So, does anybody else see anything else? Is there any rust jacking happen anywhere? Any major blowout on cement? Well, the last question on this is going to be, after I fully refurb every bolt out of here, I backed up every weld with a bolt connection of some kind with a stamp. All the welded major welds, not minor welds. So any pickets don't need backing. And this is the rule. If it breaks and it falls up, that's called a minor connection. Got it? So if it breaks and it falls into the sky, it's called a minor connection. But if it breaks and it falls down and hurts people or kills people, that's called a major connection. That's all you have to remember. See these through bolts? I mean, these supports that come out? They all come out like this. There's a standard one that comes out and one that comes like this with one bolt. Those are a pain in the ass to get out. Don't take them out. They're solid. They're like 5/8 or ½ inch. Get a U-clamp. They sell them at Fastenal. Just put a U-clamp on it and tighten it up. And now do I need to load test that? If I've got 2 bolts where only one was needed? Nope. It's called other evidence of strength. The test back into the building, if you follow that test all the way back into the building, a lot of times you can see with the plate on the inside. You want to bring a drill, a 1-inch drill, and you drill the sheetrock. snake camera. If I can go in there with my snake camera and shoot the picture of that plate in spectacular order, can I submit that to you as other evidence of strength?
Well, BDS, yeah.
I submit it to you before you send me to PDS.
Maybe.
He actually
Most
gets an
cases,
affidavit.
I'm the tail end.
Yeah.
No, I understand. But you're the
Part
violation.
of the dog is too good.
I totally get it. No, I totally get it. But at the